So I'm back. Yesterday's interruption was longer than I expected, so it's now today. It's always today when I'm talking, of course, but relatively speaking, yesterday was yesterday and today is today. And in this version of today, I'm in the Prokofiev Sixth Sonata, first movement, and I've decided to plow on ahead from measure 136 or so. There's been a lot of this developmental stuff that jumps all over the place in the preceding page. But I'm going to continue from here and then backtrack. So here's where we had the series of chords that I was looking for a good fingering for and decided to use third finger on the F sharp in measure 137. So that's quite comfortable and quite reasonable. And the other thing I found of interest, certainly, is Prokofiev's thinking in 137, because he has these repeated note figures that he writes first in individual hands and then splitting the hand. So he writes left, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, left. Do I want to do that? That's the question of the moment. I like, first of all, this one. This one I like. This one I like because by playing the second B in the right hand, it gets my left hand ready to go on. The question is, why the last division? Well, I think I've answered the question. He wants a significant accent on the downbeat, on the C. So, and by playing it with thumb in my right hand, I make that possible, and I free my left hand for that. In the case of this, it's really important that the gesture be free, because you'll miss this E way up here every time if not. I'm playing it with my thumb. I'm also clearing the keyboard well enough. I think the biggest mistake that many people make is in trying to make this gesture small. It has to be free. It doesn't matter if it's big or if it's small. It matters that it's free, that the track you use is comfortable for your body. So, letting go of where you are. My left hand is basically coming way back towards my body and then reapproaching the keyboard, which makes it very easy. I could go lots of places in the same time I have a lot of it. So, that's easy. So, thankfully Prokofiev leaves the right hand F where it is. Twice, how about that? Okay, I missed it. It goes. I think I'm thinking too much about what's on the page. I have to know what's going on. 141, a half note against this. So I see I've written a sostenuto. If I want to be a purist, well, even that you can hear, that's far more than D. I don't think I can be a purist, I'm afraid. In other words, if I'm going to use sostenuto pedal, it's no big deal to have some of the D minor sonority there. Recognizing that if I were not even considering the sostenuto, I'd be doing that. So I'm clarifying the texture by using the sostenuto. I'm still not literally translating what I see, because quite frankly, it's impossible. I think it's impossible. Let's see. Yeah, I'd have to do it right there. And it's so not worth it. I'd have to do it after the 4th, 16th. Because after that point, my left hand would have been done with its quarter. It would have let go, the right hand would have let go of the 5th finger. All of that is way beyond the degree of complexity that this situation warrants. So it's one of those judgment calls. So I get some of D minor chord. It's quite reasonable. Better slow down here because there's lots of stuff happening. I have this. I may as well figure out what's happening because I don't know what's happening. That's what's happening. I guess I missed it. I had already marked it at 140. And because I was practicing from here, from 141, it made no sense. I was in the middle of the theme. So from 140, it's... clarify that because there's so many surrounding orchestral details. For example, in measure 42, the downbeat is not part of the theme. So he's delayed that. Let me just check against the original second theme. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold over the bar line. So, here we have in augmentation, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so where there was a tie, now there's a rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. Yeah. 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Statement there. That's full of other things, but it's basically relatively pure restatement in augmentation. I'm going to carry on from 142 to see what's going on. Ah yes, I've redivided it. I'm playing more octaves in 142 in my right hand than... I don't know why Prokofiev would have written this not in the right hand. It's just so much easier. another version of the B theme with the eighth notes. Let's see, where do we first get that? Oh, in Più mosso del tempo primo, 92, where he extracts that motive, it turns into this. So he uses this again here. He used it often in imitation or in canon before. So that's fun. Little details of, like in 144, where you have one note in the bass, the melodic design in the upper voice, and then the lower voice comes in on the last note of the melodic line. So, and I'm being suckered into repeating the wrong keys. Bass note is, so it's like this. And modeling it with two hands really makes it easier to get a sense of how it goes. So now to try to match that. It always helps to have a physical strategy to make it work. In other words, a repeated note in the top voice but not in the bottom voice necessitates landing on the first two notes together and moving upwards on the second one, so you're pivoting around the fifth finger. So, and then on the repeated A, I don't want to land heavily on the double notes. My attention to the fifth finger. Oops. Let's see if I can put some of that together. Well, there's just enough of the distraction element for me to have to avoid thinking about my right hand, because I'm still thinking about the complexity of my left hand. Whoops, too many repeated notes. It's in no way difficult, it's just tricky. There's a difference, I think. It's not physically difficult, it's not even that mentally difficult, but it requires translating what I see in the page into reality, into solutions that are reasonable. but they're not self-evident. That's why they're tricky. So. Now I'm going to voice my left hand a little more strongly, because by making it just sound accompanimental, it gets submerged in the sonority of the right hand, and I can't concentrate on it because I can't hear it. Any of you who have ever played with orchestra and discover yourself playing and not hearing what's coming out of the piano will recognize that disconcerting feeling, that you have to be visually oriented or tactily oriented, but to lose the aural interaction is a very creepy kind of feeling. Not to be liked, let me put it this way. There we go. And I didn't look at my right hand part at all. What the right hand is up. 1 and 2. I've written no fingerings here, which is an indication that I just did what I assumed was the way it falls. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, probably. And then there's a hierarchy. These are filler or accompanimental, flourish, and this is thematic. Although not the primary theme here, it's the recollection of the A motive. So I have no indication of my pedaling, which I rather assume should be a ostinato pedal. With regular pedal, holding this whole note. Junk. Sost. So I really need to mark it each time. In fact, I can make it really clean because there's little enough happening. I can release my left hand C really early and then pedal with the pure C sharp octave. Whoops. And there's a slur, second beat. That's got to become what also. Term I use, it's got to be physicalized. You know, it's got to become a reality as a physical gesture, as a physical experience. I don't know why I'm going for F sharp. Oh, I know I'm going for F sharp because my right hand has been playing F sharp. Okay, here's one of those interpretive quandaries. Officially, this should be an F sharp because Prokofiev has taken that very pitch and made it F sharp. But many notational languages would say that's not in the same line, so that can't be an F sharp. So I think juicy. The right hand is playing an F natural at that point. I will have to hold this decision in abeyance. I think, I'm going to have to look into it. But for now, there's no overlap there. 1 and 2 and 3 and I'm playing this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm coming in too early, so and texture and execution there. I'm torn. I think, conceptually, I've got to make a break in my head, as in my body, for the third beat, as opposed to the fourth beat. And start again, in essence. I need this ninth to be under my hand, so I don't have to think about it, but rather just complete it with a simple gesture. That's good. I already have the C now. I can feel it. That's important. This one needs also a ostinato in 147. So make a decision. I have a lower E in the left hand, just a quarter, and a half note, whole note in the right hand. If I want a pure single E on the ostinato, I have two choices. I can let go the quarter note early, which in effect makes it an eighth note. It's a bit of a stretch here. It's an 11th, which I can do, but I don't know if it's worth it. Or I can play. Well, actually, that's much easier. I'm going to play. Silly me. I think I've written play the whole thing in the right hand anyway. From a previous passing through this passage. I may have. I'll have to review what I said before. I think I've. Oh, that's so much easier. Okay. Just because there's so much writing, I'm going to put R for right hand for both of those passages. Right. So. Let go when I choose to on my thumb, and then use a ostinato after I've done so. make doubly sure. No, just here. I've got some arbitrary fingering I have to take care of. Well, another example of notation that can't mean what it says. In 152, he's got, as he's had for several measures before, quarter note, eighth notes, quarter note, eighth notes, quarter note, eighth notes, quarter note, eighth notes, quarter note octave. Well, he could mean it. If he actually played with 1-3 and didn't use pedal, and he can reach, then you can do that literally. Otherwise, actually, it doesn't sound terrible to pedal it. Ostinato pedal. Maybe. Missed it. There it is. Oops, missed it again. And I'm misplaying. It's just B. Off. That's it. Well, I think I'm going to choose to play my right hand starting with the fourth finger. I've got to have my left hand go to the thumb just so it can reach. Each one of these held notes is indicated with the pedal with that tie going to infinity sign. So, okay, and then what? Okay, he gets fancy with his rhythms and how he decorates or embellishes the melody. Okay, so. Meanwhile, the melody, very conveniently, from either Prokofiev or his editor, or this editor, has drawn a line to show that the hands share the melody. Fair amount of complexity here. I need to check my fingering, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you to the B flat, to the A, to the B. All right. 3, notes there. Let's see. My fancy fingering in 155, 1 3 2, 1 4. Rather than trying to do it straight, it makes it much easier to be able to toss your hand to the thumb. I could also do 1 3 2 to 1 3. The 4. Probably. Maybe I'll do that. The spacing is better, but the 4th is already available. I'll probably stick with that for now. So it's very useful to have decided how easy this fingering is, because now I can play that peculiar hybrid scale by feel and concentrate on how to put it all together. Okay, there is one of those durational things. Prokofiev has written in 152, quarter note, then dotted half note. There's no way I'm going to be able to hold that dotted half note for a full value, but I'm going to hold it through the beginning of the 4th beat, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll accomplish just what it's there for, to show a spacer and support for the D. Okay, 4th finger. Okay. I don't need a pedal to help myself out. No. Or do I want one? Right hand melody, left hand melody. Okay. Just small decision needs to be made. Do I play 3rd finger or 4th finger on this D? I think 3 because I just used the 4. So, and I just did what I didn't say. Go figure. Okay, if I use 3 in both, that'll be easy to remember. But if I use something like this, then I have a big skip. I'm just having fun here. I would never redivide the end of 156 so the left hand plays the 10ths. Under other circumstances, if it weren't as quick or weren't as loud, maybe I would, but that's kind of silly. You have to be silly once in a while. This is a very important thing, because if you're not amused, well, if there's no entertainment value in what you're doing, let me put it this way, why would you stay engaged? So I find good learning to be very entertaining. So even when I'm making a mistake, sometimes that's remarkably entertaining. Love playing at the bottom of the keyboard. I don't need to, but I think I'll shift to the 5th finger just because I can't reach to the F, unfortunately. I'm supposed to play this as a half note. So I may do that. Yes. Ostinato. That works. Ostinato. offbeat. And just to keep things interesting, we go back to measure 24. That figure, before the second major theme, that he used those interlocking hands. We have something that refers to that. So let me see if I can find my part. Oh, here we go. So now we still have broken octaves here, but they're on the offbeat. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And I love this diminution. This figure, 16th note figure in 162, derives right from the second theme. Very motivically oriented, very, what can I say, Brahmsian in that sense. Doesn't sound at all like Brahms, but with the same meticulous attention to try to relate things to one another. And before him, Beethoven, of course, but Brahms I consider the master of motivic manipulation like that. Okay, let's see what the left hand is up to. Octaves. And then it starts to join in. There's lots of doubling. And not only that, but there's also a bass line, intermittent bass line. Well, I see I've fingered the 3 octave leaps in the left hand, 2, 1, 5. Now, the issue with that is the left hand is moving faster, so I've got to pay more attention to it than the right hand. In turn, that means I need to know the right hand well enough. So, up the third, down, whoops, all white notes, down the fourth, down the third, so. It gives immediately much more of a sense of fluency than I get when I'm trying to check both hands, mentally or physically. So, if I think, for example, F, E flat, A flat, E flat, F sharp, so F, 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 A flat. So much more fluid and so much more dependable. That's what I call internalizing it or lifting it off the page, assimilating it, doing something so the score doesn't become the bully. You don't want to have to interact with the score by having it tell you in real time what notes you should play. Unless you're playing very slowly, that's just not a possible task. So, this is a merry task. Okay, now these thingies. We'll just although I'm very comfortable with 1, 2, 3, 5 and 5, 3, 2, 1, I'm going to write it down lest I doubt it at some point in the future. And then it's fourth finger. So whoops, that's ostinato here. It's one of the few times it's easy to apply because you have a whole quarter note. Piece of cake. There's our melody still. The intrusion of that chromatic figure again. There's an octavo at 176, but it's after the third beat. So let's go back to, it happens to be the top of the page for convenience, 171. Not as hard when I'm playing it alone. It's amazing sometimes. Meanwhile, right under the hand, third finger, so I'll just mark that to remind myself how easy it is. Nice. The right hand is so much more self-contained. It doesn't jump around. So I can play it, I feel I can play it while looking at the camera, which is an indication that if I have to divide up my attention, it goes to the left. So, which immediately makes it much easier. And it's those kinds of decisions that save lots of wear and tear. I doubted for a moment, but I didn't look at the right-hand part in the score at all. And that does it. Let's see what's going on. Hands together. I know I haven't worked out what came before. I'm just curious about of what's happening here. 7 notes. So that's easy. Okay, so something to look forward to. This, you can hear how painstakingly uncomfortable I was, and that's because it hasn't connected here yet. I'm just reading the notes, even though they sound basically familiar. I have to know where I'm going and what I'm doing. Okay, so one of the things I want to know is, physically, I want a fingering. In my right hand, the interval compresses from an octave to a minor 7th, to a 5th, to a 4th. It also goes from straight to tilt, to straight blacks, to straight whites. I could go 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. It's not the most comfortable. I could go 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, 3. Which would be a little more comfortable. It's a little, takes one thought further. I get more because 5, 4, 3, 2 is kind of automatic. But I have to decide whether the extra comfort is worth it. Now, that immediately solves my right hand for 3 measures, even black notes, even for when it turns triplet. So now, left hand has a leap, and it's not consistent either. Goes to F sharp both times. Once through the 3 black notes, once by skipping through to G. So and skips without the indicating F sharp. So I'm going to obviously concentrate on the left hand. It's much more complicated. Left hand, I said I'd concentrate on it, but I didn't concentrate on the change. That's it. So you can hear already. I know more what the notes are. Executing them with the glissando back up to the C's. It's not tricky to play a glissando. It's tricky to keep track of where I am, which means I don't think I will succeed in this passage if it's not played with my visual orientation on the keyboard instead of on the music. So at least there. So it'll probably aid me as soon as it's memorized well. I know it will aid me. I have to know where I'm going. I want orientation. C octave to B. That's fine. And then I have to tell myself either the simpler fingering or the more comfortable fingering. B. 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 Yes. Oops. What's unusual about this is the extra note, 7 notes. So the trill ends on the thumb. If I know that, it's easy. If I do anything else, go for even notes, like 6, I'm stuck. So I have to toss my right hand through the 3 and 1 to the left hand. Oh, in case you're interested, yes, I'm playing with 1, 3, 3, 1, what I call my power fingering for trills. It gives more rotation. It's much faster and stronger. It's not unique to me by any chance, but it's just a preference that I have. Whoops. Sorry. I have to be careful of these intervals. Okay, they're all B flat, A flat, G. Major intervals, down a whole step, down a half step. Okay. I am playing an E flat that I shouldn't be playing, it looks like. For now, I'm going to go with the assumption that what's written is what is right. Interestingly, the previous 2 measures ago, same sonority, 4th chord is written E, G sharp. Here it's written, I think, E, A flat, going to A flat on the bottom. So that's going to give me a little bit more reassurance that it probably is an E and not an E flat, in spite of the E flat in the right hand. Lots more reassurance, because the sonorities in the right hand are respelled enharmonically as well, but they're entirely consistent. Okay, and then we begin. One of those ostinati that Prokofiev loves so much, ominous ostinati. I am going to stop right here. Take a break. Thank you.